Okay, we're going to get started. Today we're going to be talking about, what should I take and why? This is a presentation just based on the recent coronavirus. We're just going to go over real quick what it is. You will get a playback recording of this, and you're welcome to have the slides. I will send those out as well on a Google Drive. I don't mind sharing my information. You're welcome to use them in presentations. Change what you want. Just don't put my name on it if you make any changes. So for most people, I think, you may know me, you may not, but this is me. A naturopathic doctor, certified natural health professional. I have a bachelor's degree in exercise and sports science. So I started out in personal training. I'm a level 2 digestive specialist. I have over 25 years in the industry between health and wellness, naturopathy, sports fitness, all that kind of stuff. I love to speak. I'm a writer. I'm also a wife, a mom of 2 little boys, and I love Jesus. So I come from that genre. And if that's not where you come from, that's okay. We all have to live on this earth together. So I think most of the reasons that we're all here is family. This is the reason that I do what I do. These are my boys and my husband, obviously. And I think we're all just concerned about family right now and what can we do in this time. So I thought, what a better time than now, while we all have time to invest in our health, to really take a look at what we can do to boost our immune system, stay healthy, protect each other, be respectful. And that's really the point to this. I'm going to go over the things. This is my current parenting style. I pretty much just allow everything. I just, after being indoors for so long, I think this is where we all are. It also contributes to the stress, but we just got to survive this time. And I think this is basically how we're all feeling right now, right? Everything's canceled. The whole earth is canceled. We're not sure what's going to happen. But what a better time than to really invest in our health and to really understand, how to boost our immune systems and how to respect each other and keep each other, healthy and safe. So here's some of the things I've learned in the last few weeks. This coronavirus, the strain that we're talking about is a novel virus. That means it's new, and we're going to talk about that. The mortality rate is about 3% globally. And that means people that are susceptible. The coronavirus is transmitted aerosol, something like the flu, but really you have to touch it and kind of get it in your eyes and your face. The elderly, immunocompromised, people on chemo. Also, they're finding out that certain medications like blood pressure medications that are ACE inhibitors, people that are obese, they are more susceptible, which is really about lifestyle. And I really learned that I love touching my face because I can't stop touching my face most of the time. So let's go through some terms because I think these get intermixed and people don't really know what they mean. Coronavirus is the virus that's out there. There's lots of different coronaviruses. This one in particular is a SARS virus. It's a CoV2, which is a new strain. And then the COVID-19, that is the disease that is manifested from having this SARS-2. Some people have mild symptoms and some people have very severe symptoms. So that's coronavirus infectious disease 19. So that's the term. If somebody has the coronavirus CoV2 strain and is symptomatic, then they have COVID-19, right? They have the disease. And disease is used so loosely in health these days that it really doesn't mean what it used to mean, which is something that you have forever. You don't really have COVID-19 forever. It's an infection. It comes and it goes. Your body will fight it off if you have a healthy immune system and maybe some intervention medically, but you won't have it forever. So usually a disease is something that happens forever, but let's not pick apart that term. Contagious versus deadly. It is very contagious because it's a new strain. We haven't seen it before. And it can be deadly to those that we just talked about, the immunocompromised, the elderly, mostly because they have low melatonin levels. They're on several medications. Basically what happens is their body goes into a state that it's supposed to and has this cytokine storm and is really trying to fight the infection, and then they can't recover from that respiratory distress. And so they go into the next thing, which is a pneumonia, and that's usually what gets them. So it's interesting that it'll be contributed to the COVID-19, but really what takes them out is usually a pneumonia. A respiratory distress. So who's at risk? We talked about that. And what really kills us, like I said, it's usually the secondary factors that get you. One of the things that I have learned, through this whole thing, and we'll talk about it later, is our lifestyles are really not conducive to fighting viruses and bacteria and things like that. you know, we have such an unhealthy population. And I think this demonstrated it more than anything. So we're going to get into that. So here's some of the theories that are out. And guys, I respect wherever you are. I'm not going to tell you which my theory is, but, you know, whatever it is, we have to realize that it's here. And that boosting the immune system is simply good, regardless of what theory you have. So if you think it's a 5G thing, I'm going to talk about DMG. If you think it's a vaccine induced, I'm going to talk about methylation and glutathione. If you think it's the second coming of Christ, well, good. This is almost all over soon, right? So regardless of what you think, I think there's no better time for us to start boosting our immune system so that we can protect ourselves, our family, and each other, and, you know, be respectful in whatever you think. So one of the things I like to teach people is that there's, you know, two pathways of the immune system, which is called Th1 and Th2. And I'm not going to get into this a lot, but just so you know that we have an innate immune system, which is a pattern recognition. This is literally a God-given immune system that recognizes you versus not you. So even before an antibody is formed, your body can recognize bacteria and viruses and things like that that are not you and that are not safe for you. And this happens in what we call toll-like receptors. And we literally have a toll-like receptor, which they just started studying not too long ago, maybe like 5-6 years ago, that we literally have these little toll-like receptors for everything. So let's take the recent Gardasil vaccination, right? It protects against HPV. Do you know we have a toll-like receptor in our innate immune system already for the HPV virus? So it's pretty amazing. And then we have adaptive. This is antibody production secondary, and great way to like build antibodies against things. However, you know, when people are aching and paining for a vaccination, the problem is we don't have a pattern recognition yet for this virus. It has to kind of go around and gain that herd immunity. And if we give a vaccination for this, you know, you're going to offset that equal balance between innate and adaptive. So really, it's not going to help us. Plus, if you understand how viruses work, you know that they mutate every transmission. That means from you to I. So every time it goes into my cells, and, you know, viruses are not living things. They latch onto your cells, they go in, they infiltrate, they replicate your DNA, and they need a host. So your cells have to be susceptible to this. They have to be permissible. They have to let that virus in. And so having good cellular health, which comes from good nutrition, and not being susceptible to it, which means having a healthy lifestyle, are really the two things that we can do right now to keep us protected. So both we need to enhance both of these. And I'm going to go through the products now that will help. So here's the chances that I'll ever get the coronavirus vaccine, right? None is in red, and well, blue is also none, but just in blue. So I don't think it's really going to help us because we're going to be far past the peak of this and coming down. So we're going to have herd immunity already. It's really not necessary, but, you know, they'll probably come out with something. So line up if you want to. I won't be there. All right, probiotics. Here's where we're going to start because I love probiotics. This is a daily in my family's house. You know, my kids take probiotics every day. I take probiotics. My husband, if I can chase him around or if he remembers or if he knows where to get them from. But this is our good bacteria, guys. This covers our entire body. And for every cell that you have in your body, you have 10 times the probiotics. And these probiotics, they're destroyed by poor lifestyle and diet, antibiotics, if you've ever taken those. And yes, our hand sanitizers. So what they're finding is overuse of hand sanitation actually kills our microbiome. That is a God-given pattern recognition of good and not good. So we're over sanitizing right now. I'm not saying don't wash your hands. I'm saying don't get crazy with the hand sanitizers. Some of the things that I recommend is people put colloidal silver on their hands, or actually take some probiotics, break them open in some coconut oil, and use that on your hands. So we really want to keep our microbiome balanced. It's very important. This is 80% of our immune system. This is specific to each and every person. This is like a fingerprint. And this is so specific to you that they're actually starting to classify probiotics as another organ system. So normal transmission of infection, right, goes to the nasal passages, respiration, into the gut. And you have a microbiome, a probiotic base all through that. You have a pattern recognition, which starts the communication of your immune system to be like, hey, we need this toll-like receptor. We need T cells. We need B cells. Let's get the lymphatic system involved. Let's get the adaptive immune system involved. So it's a neurotransmitter communication, not only of what we need immunologically, but also what we need nutrient dense wise. What do we need to amplify in our body to get systems and functions processing fast, right? So this is an amazing system. And probiotics by far are not in our diet. Okay, we don't really eat real fermented foods. I mean, yes, yogurts are good, and you'll see things like Activa. Guys, come on. It's in a plastic container. It's really not alive, and it's probably loaded with sugar. And if you have any like artificial sugars in those yogurts, well, you're not really getting your probiotics. You need fermented foods, things like kimchi, kombucha, you know, your own fermented yogurt, and you can get starter kits off Amazon. But if you want to just keep it simple, take a good supplement, one that has a good multiple strain probiotic, because there's lots of different probiotic strains. There's trillions of them. This is how big this is. But you need one with like a good 12 strains, and probably at about a 50 billion CFU. That's colony forming units. That's how many live active bacteria are in there. And make sure you invest in a good company, because a lot of companies will just guarantee it till manufacturing. And then once it leaves the manufacturer, they don't care what happens to it. Lots of companies that have it on the label guaranteed to expiration, that's who you're looking for, okay? Elderberry, we're seeing a lot of controversy on this, so I'm just going to try to get it to be understood. I like elderberry for a prevention, like to take it to boost my immune system. This is something I'll give to my kids when school is starting for about a month. I want to help them with, you know, white blood cell production and just getting their immune system ready for anything that might come in. It's also fabulous for respiratory health. The berries and flowers of elderberry are packed with like antioxidants and vitamins, and they just really boost your immune system. So this is great. One of the controversies that have come back is that they create a cytokine storm. And a cytokine storm is actually a good thing. When you get an infection, it causes an inflammation, and your body's like radio controlling to get your immune system going. And so it creates all of this inflammation and all of these little cytokine storms, and it's trying to communicate. The issue is with this particular virus, people can't shut that off. And so that storm actually becomes problematic. And it becomes the reason that people start to have secondary issues of pneumonia, because that storm just doesn't shut off, and the body just keeps filling with fluid and mucus, and basically you start to drown, right? Just like in pneumonia. So people are saying that elderberry is going to contribute to that. And really, it's an adaptogenic herb. It's not going to do it. But here's what I tell people. Use it. And if you feel that you're getting sick, you don't have to use it, right? But I do use it for my own family. I'm not afraid of it. Natural nutrient density does not scare me. I get more scared by the direct effects of the toxicity of pharmaceuticals. Okay, N-acetylcysteine. This is commonly known as NAC. This is a supplement. It does reduce inflammation. It also reduces replication of viruses. It increases apoptosis. That means destruction, or just basically blowing up of bad cells. And remember, the virus has to come in like a little robot and attach to one of your cells, and then go in there and change the coding of your RNA. So this particular virus is an RNA virus. It's not a DNA virus. And so what happens is it just starts to replicate all your cells to look like itself. Well, this can actually come in through studies that have been shown and stop that replication. So N-acetylcysteine is really powerful. You know, it's also a precursor to glutathione. Remember how I said that people that think this is a vaccine induced, that's fine, but we need glutathione. If you had enough glutathione in your body, you can take out anything. The issue is we have very low levels of glutathione in our body because we don't get all of our nutrients from our diet, such as B vitamins, which are the precursor to the development of glutathione. And we don't assimilate protein very well because we have poor diets and we have poor digestion. So our glutathione in our society is really low. You can take a product like N-acetylcysteine, 2 capsules a day at about 500 milligrams, and you can really boost your glutathione production. So this is wonderful. And this is the one thing that I use, and I'll give you a story later when my husband got sick. Vitamin C. There's so many studies on vitamin C, guys. This is just a known fact that vitamin C is good for your immune system. It strengthens it. It's a major antioxidant. It cleans up the system. What they're using now is vitamin C intravenous therapy at like 10 times the recommended dosage for patients that have the coronavirus because of sepsis. And this really has it decreases the inflammatory response, right? When the body overreacts to the infection, which is that cytokine storm. So vitamin C is so amazing, but not only as what they're finding in hospitals, and I see they're using them in hospitals, these intravenous vitamin Cs, you can take it. You can take it just every single day. And it's shown that 200 milligrams of vitamin C a day will reduce the death rate in the elderly with severe pneumonia by 80%. That's amazing. Studies have shown that babies with pneumonia, and there is a serious condition, infants with pneumonia that get 200 milligrams of vitamin C, that's the adult equivalent of about 3,000 milligrams. They have an improvement in their oxygen levels in less than a day. These aren't my words, guys. These are studies you can find on PubMed. You can go there and look at it. But vitamin C overall, it's cheap. It's great. It's water soluble. You don't have to worry about it. And it's just going to be so beneficial for you and your family. So again, quality matters, and you got to get a good one. So if you have any questions about sources, I'll share with that later. Excuse me. I need a little beverage. Hang on a second. A little sip. All right, vitamin D. If you live in the state of Pennsylvania, where I live, you're deficient. End of story. Last year, 2019, we had 60 days of sun total. I mean, we had the least amount of sun in the country. That's amazing. So vitamin D is amazing because it's not actually a vitamin. It's a pro-hormone. It actually works with your endocrine system and keeps inflammation down in your body. And most people are deficient in it because we are so sunophobic right now. But this big, long lettered paragraph here I'm going to read, the interventional and observational epidemiological study provided evidence that vitamin C may confer increased risk of influenza and respiratory tract infection. Cell culture experiments support that the thesis that vitamin D has a direct antiviral effect. Basically, what this study said was vitamin D is fabulous for what we call enveloped viruses, and that's what this particular virus is. Coronavirus is an enveloped virus. It comes in and it envelopes the small membrane protein. It attaches to what we call an ACE2 receptor. And vitamin D actually can cover those receptors, right? When you have enough, when you have optimal levels, so it can't attach. Guys, you have twice as many ACE2 receptors as women. So you need more vitamin D, okay? Other examples of envelope viruses are like, herpes simplex, shingles, things like an Epstein-Barr. So if you're starting to have flare-ups of these things, that shows me you have low vitamin D. So remember, you want to start drawing the parallels. Now, wait a second, envelope virus, and I have a flare-up of X. Maybe I should take some vitamin D. Be logical, right? It's really, your body works on nutrition, right? It needs nutrition for fuel. So it's really important. So vitamin D by far fights envelope viruses. This is a great one to implement as a preventative. Okay, many people have never heard of this darn mighty good supplement, as my friend Kelly would say. This is DMG. This is dimethylglycine. And this was actually B15. Because they didn't really know what it did, they just never really talked about it. And I love it. This is by far my favorite supplement in the world. I take it every day, about 500 milligrams for me personally. I give it to my kids every day. It's good for, it's an oxygenator. And as we know, that there was a Pulitzer Prize winner who said cancer can't survive in an oxygenated environment. That's what he said. He didn't say alkaline, so just erase that alkaline part from your brain. I don't even know where that came from. It probably came from somebody who wanted to sell you a green smoothie. But he said cancer can't survive in an oxygenated environment, and neither can pathogens. So when we oxygenate ourselves, okay, and that's what this supplement does, it provides oxygenation. A lot of things can't survive in an oxygenated body. It also increases apoptosis, which we now know destroys, blows up these things. And it donates what we call methyl groups. And methyl groups are what your proteins need to come and bond with to go make new healthy cells and create really strong cellular membranes. And also, when they bond together, they go and they create glutathione, right? So that's cool because glutathione, major antioxidant in the body, and we know that antioxidants take out free radicals. And what is a virus? It's a free radical. It's something that shouldn't be there. So as you can see, DMG comes in as a supplement and starts creating this methyl pool, right? And so you just have this little pool of goodness just waiting for you to fight against bacteria, viruses, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, there's over 40 patents on DMG. This is a tremendous resistance builder. It enhances the body's natural protection against the bacteria, fungus, and viral diseases. So guys, that's what we're talking about. DMG, great way to put that into your body, boost your body's ability to fight this virus. You can get it in liquid and chewables. It's just an awesome source. I have a frog in my throat. So zinc. This actually reduces the severity and inhibits replication. So remember how I said this little virus comes in, right? It attaches to that ACE2 receptor, and then what happens is it goes into the RNA, it starts to replicate and pops out another little RNA infected SARS virus, right? And now we have this whole processing of replication. They found that the lozenges are more effective than the tablets just because of the salivary amylase, and it breaks down faster. But we really want to keep our body from replicating this, so that we're not only, you know, having issues ourselves, but staying contagious longer for other people. So when this picture just represents it coming in and replicating over and over. So the virus needs that ACE2 receptor. And I talked about that fun fact, men have more than women. Sorry, guys. Sometimes more is not more, right? Sometimes more is less. So make sure you have your zinc. And, you know, your average RDA on zinc is fine. I think they recommend 15 to 30 milligrams a day. Make sure you cut that down for kids. They're little bodies. Okay. So essential oils, if you like oils, and I do, and, you know, I use them a lot with just different things. But a few things that I really appreciate about essential oils is some of the studies coming out on them is that they can actually go in to the cells, kill the virus, and stop the replication without destroying the cells, right? Remember, apoptosis is destruction of the cells, and a lot of things will come in and do that, where essential oils don't have that effect on cells. They can actually preserve the cell, which is pretty amazing. So I like respiratory blends. You know, anything that has like eucalyptus or cardamom or thyme, those are all good blends to look for, and most of them will say respiratory. Frankincense, this is the king of all oils. Make sure you're getting quality oils, guys, because you don't want a lot of contaminants and ethanol and a lot of the other stuff that's in there. So it's going to be a toxin to you. And then thyme. I love thyme. It is a caustic oil. It's hot. So you do have to dilute it, and it doesn't always smell great. So I usually like it within a respiratory blend that's going to smell a little bit better. But if you need to do it on its own, it's amazing because it's one of those essential oils that increases the interleukin-10s, and the interleukin-10s are your anti-inflammatory stimulation of your immune system. So as you get that cytokine storm coming up and these people, their body won't shut down, you can put the thyme oil topically, make sure you dilute it, or, you know, some oils they can recommend you can take internally, or if it's in a respiratory blend, you can just put it on there and really help with the inflammation. So these are according to studies that are out there, and I think that's pretty amazing that essential oils can do that for you. So again, it's a compilation of all these things that you're going to do, from your vitamin C to your DMG to your NAC, along with just doing all these preventative measures, but you have to be consistent, right? It's just like washing your hands. You can't just wash your hands on Tuesday and think that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're fine. You know, you have to do these things every day and really put them in as a habit of health. Okay. So, you know, one of the things that I talk to people about is lifestyle, right? And one of my friends tagged this as the Corona 15. You know, and I think what's happening is we're bored, right? And we're going to the fridge and, you know, you're grabbing things you normally wouldn't. And, you know, quarantine day one, you have little Debbie and then you have Big Deborah, right? So this is kind of what's happening to us. So we're becoming more stagnant, you know, because we're not going anywhere. We're afraid to go outside. People are literally like calling police on their neighbors whose kids are playing in the yard. And as I go through lifestyle, you're going to see that it is very important that we keep moving and that we choose better foods. You know, one of the sad things that I've seen in the grocery stores, I'm going to skip back to that, is that the fact that canned food, toxic chemicals, and store-bought hand sanitizers are out of stock, but you can still go to the store and all the fresh fruits and vegetables are there. And it's not because they're perishable. It's because people never ate them in the first place. 90% of our food bought in the grocery stores is processed, which means we throw away 40 billion tons of fresh fruits and vegetables a year. I mean, that is just absolutely astounding to me, which means you're not getting living food, guys. You're not getting enzymatic food. You're not getting probiotic laden food. You're not getting your good amino acids, your good fats, your minerals. Those are the essentials that build the immune system. They are not in Cheerios. Okay, they're not in your Diet Coke. They are in fresh fruits and vegetables and living food. So when we talk about nutrition, your body's going to respond to the environment you put it in. You can do your vitamin C and your NAC and your DMG, right? You can do all these things. You can use your essential oils. You can use all these things, your elderberry, all that great stuff. But what's going to happen is if you continue to eat a high sugar diet, which is going to cause inflammation, you're drinking excessively, because I see all these things like, haha, we're fighting alcoholism. And it's a joke, but for some people it's true. You know, the fear of this thing is worse than anything, I think. And, you know, it's really causing us to make bad choices. We're going for the comfort food and the alcohol and maybe smoking more rather than doing things that are going to enhance our health and protect us, being proactive rather than reactive to the stress. So toxicity leads to this busy immune system that's just going to be taking care of everything else that you're doing wrong and all the time. And then if the virus comes in, it's not going to be able to target it because it's so busy taking out the pizza you just ate and all the high inflammation that you've created in your body. And so inflammation is one of the biggest contributors to dis-ease of the body. And so we really need to start thinking right now, you know, that we're looking at the peak coming in a couple of weeks. How can we prepare in the next 2 weeks? How can we get our families ready? What things can we do besides supplementation that we can do right now, right? Maybe your finances are tight. I totally understand. You can find vitamin C in oranges. Elderberry, you can find syrups. You can actually go get the berries if you really wanted to. Where do you find sources of vitamin D? Right? And your good fatty fish and things like that. You can eat these nutrients. You can go out in the sun for 15 minutes and get your vitamin D levels up, right? So these are good things that we know, but just eating whole foods, right? Tree, ground, run, swim, fly. Falls from a tree, grows from the ground, runs in the field, swims in the ocean, flies in the sky. Organic if you can, non-genetically modified, eat it. If it reproduces life on its own, it will reproduce life in you. That's a fact. So let's start eating more nutrition dense food, and take away all the toxicity. Don't keep your immune system busy doing something that it shouldn't be doing right now. It should be targeting and looking for things that are coming in that might make you sick, right? It shouldn't be your pizza and your beer. So movement, I know exercise, people love it right now. I think we can't go to the gyms and you're out of your routine. Let's do something. Movement is detoxification. It's not just calorie burning. And in fact, don't even get me started on that. But this stimulates the lymphatic system. That's what movement does. And your lymphatic system is your network of lymph nodes and fluid, and actually pulls all the toxins from the blood, identifies them, starts to create antibodies if needed, or the toll-like receptors. And then once that fluid is clean, it puts it back to the blood so that it can circulate through your body. It's a pretty incredible system. The issue is it doesn't have a pump. And for it to get all the way through your body and do all the cleaning it needs to do, you have to move it. So guys, even if you just go walking every day or downstairs, walk up and down your steps, but move. Get your lymphatic system moving in some way. Lots of people are doing like online workouts. Get in touch with those people. That's great. I love it. If you're a fitness professional, please share your knowledge. I know it's not lucrative. Maybe you can take $5 donations, whatever that looks like. I know we're all financially just a little bit crushed right now, but it's going to come back. But we have to stay healthy through this. It's really important. Okay. So this enhances mood too, guys. When you move and you go outside and you get some sun, even if it's a little chilly, bundle up, get outside, breathe the fresh air. It's so important and vital, and get those lungs healthy. And this also increases your cardiovascular strength, your heart and your lung and your circulation. I assure you, if you get sick, you're going to need those systems to be strong. So get out and move, detoxify your body, enhance your mood, and also increase your cardiovascular strength. Okay. All right, sleep. This is probably the one thing where I am struggling because I think my kids are just way out of schedule, probably how every mom and dad feels right now. But rest is vital in this time, and let me tell you why. Melatonin is a modulator for our pro and anti-inflammatory response to respiratory illness. Now, what is melatonin? It's a little tiny hormone that gets released when you get tired, right? So the sun starts to go down, and all of a sudden you start to feel a little bit tired, because when the sun goes down, there's a little gland here called the pineal gland. And he's like, oh, it's time to go to bed. All right, let's start pumping out the melatonin so that we all get tired, right? And what do? We go turn on every light in the house, grab our iPhones, we're scrolling Facebook, let's turn the TV on. And so all that light stimulation starts to confuse the pineal gland, and he really doesn't know if it's nighttime or not, especially blue light, which is really affecting. And I'm going to talk about that next. So also our sleep patterns are off, right? We release melatonin between 2 and 3 in the morning. That's our best times. So we want to go to sleep and be in a good sleep by 2 to 3 in the morning, not going to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then, our REM sleep's happening later in the day. So sleep is vital. We have to sleep. Here's the good thing, guys. Children 10 and under have about 10 times as much melatonin as adults. So fear not. Your kids are protected. but get them to sleep. I know that my kids were not going to bed at a time. And we have started like, hey guys, I know you enjoy summer. I love this, but for your health and to protect you from things, we need to get you in bed. So I'm not judging anybody. I'm in this boat too, and I'm paddling upstream. So we're going to turn the boat around and go with the flow, try to get a better sleep schedule. Now, another thing that we're doing is occupying our time, right? I mean, I know I'm on social media more, and guys, I see you on there. So I know that we're all on there a bit more. So the best thing I can tell you is turn on your orange screen. There's a blue light option, and then there's an orange screen option in your settings, and you can find that on your smartphones. Sorry, guys. I would totally advise you turn that on. Because what happens is this blue light from your devices actually can stop melatonin production. We need that, guys, to constantly keep. Melatonin is a huge hormone. It doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's really crucial for keeping cortisol down, helping us enhance sleep, and we need it for growth hormone. If you remember this slide, this is your major repair hormone in your body. And if we're fighting something, we need to repair everything. Our immune system, all our cells, everything needs repaired. You release growth hormone when you sleep. When you have adequate melatonin, you release adequate growth hormone. So it's very important, and we need to have it. But here's what happens. You're watching your phone, the light hits the eye, which sends a message to the little pineal gland right here. And then that goes down, and melatonin is either produced or it's not, depending on how much light is stimulating your eye. So the light slows or stops the release of melatonin. So you're in bed looking at your phone, and you're like, I just don't know why I can't sleep. Well, yeah, this is why. So either turn that orange screen on, right? And I think it's called night shift mode. I think that's what it's called on your phone. Or read a book. That's always good. My husband reads a book. You know, and I make him read to me, and I fall asleep. So works for me. All right, but what if you get sick, right? What happens? So during times of stress on the body, your body needs more. And you have to remember that sickness is stress. Poor food is stress. Breaking up with your boyfriend is stress. Your body doesn't know the difference. Stress is stress. And in the times of stress, it needs more. Seek medical help if you think you need it. Do not be above it. Don't be proud. Don't be like, oh, my friends are going to judge me. And I'm going to talk about my husband's story, because I literally said to him, I was like, do you want me to take you to the hospital? At that point, I wasn't proud. I didn't care. But we did overcome some things, and I'll share that in a second. Most of the time, people don't take enough nutrition because they're fearful. They're fearful like they're going to be toxic with taking vitamin C or B or vitamin D. That was the big one. Like, don't take too much vitamin D. It's toxic. D2 is toxic. D3 is not toxic. It's a hormone. Your body's going to do what it needs to do with it. D3 is toxic, or excuse me, D2 is toxic because it was a synthetic created by the pharmaceutical companies when they saw deficiency. They were trying to fill a gap. It was just the wrong form. And so your body was like, what is this stuff? I don't know. So therefore, it couldn't process it and became toxic. D3 is not. But most of the time we don't take things enough or long enough. So guys, you got to stay with the protocol. You can't just take it and be like, I am better, and then stop taking it. Hint, hint, like my husband, who should be taking his supplements today. Wink, wink. But, and people, you have to get this into your regimen, right? It has to be a part of your life. I just keep mine right in front of me at my desk, and I just pull things, and it's like my little apothecary, right? So I'm going to share my husband's story because this was pretty profound. This past Monday, it was about 2:00 in the afternoon, and he started to get sick. Now, you know how man colds are, guys. Like, I was kind of like, yeah, you're getting sick. You're not, I wasn't really concerned. And then by 6:00, he was down, and he was saying that his lungs were hurting and filling. And, and I thought, all right, well, you know what? I'm just going to slap a mask on you because I don't want to get sick. I took the kids up to my parents, and, my parents were good, and they were there. But this was about 2:00. He lay down on the recliner and just fell asleep. And I took a picture of the time because I wanted people to understand like what time it was. So this was Monday night, 12:30 a.m., technically Tuesday, right? So it says yesterday. By Monday night, Wednesday at 2:00, this was my husband. He was up like 48 hours later, like boom, ready to go. So from 2:00 Monday to 2:00 Wednesday, he went from hacking, couldn't breathe, couldn't lay down, hallucinating, high fever, to this in 48 hours. And everybody was like, what did you do? I just gave the body nutrition. I didn't do anything. His body overcame something because it had all of the pathway gaps filled. Did I cure or treat him? Nope, not at all. I just gave his body nutrition and his body healed itself. That's how that works. So I can't take credit for any of it. And I also prayed over him, and I'm going to talk about prayer too, because I think you got to tap into some sort of faith. So I used NAC, DMG, Buffered C, Sunshine D3 liquid, 20 capsules. It's an antioxidant. It has zinc in it. I didn't have any pure zinc. I just had that. Air Max, which was another supplement I used from Nutritional Frontiers. I used some Pro Colors, reds and greens. I threw some probiotics in there, and I used some colloidal silver, and then I slathered essential oils all over them. That was my protocol. And I did that hard for 2 days. And it was a lot. And, you know, I'd wake him up and he would get upset about me waking him up. But I truly was like, listen, you got to get this in there. You really have to, you know, get the nutrients in there so that your body can do what it needs to do. And so that's what we did. And I did pray for him. I battled in the spirit for him, you know, and just prayed, you know, health over him. And, you know, that's what we have to do. We have to really get into enough supplements, enough good lifestyle, and enough Jesus, right? And I think that's how we can all overcome. So you're tried and true, right? Washing your hands, covering your mouth when you cough, not touching your face. Really tough for me. I like touching my face. And then the whole social distancing thing. You know how I hear about feel about hand sanitizer? Not my favorite. So I use colloidal silver. It's just a natural way that we can really help, you know, offset the scary germs, if you believe in that theory. And then, you know, the whole social distancing thing, you know, just be respectful of where people are in their walk. Excuse me. Some people really don't want you near them. And then some people are fine with it, but I'm respectful. It doesn't scare me, but if I see somebody, I'm not going to be like, hey, give me a big hug. You know, I'll keep my distance until I say like, how you doing? They're like, oh, good. You know, and you just have that conversation. Just be respectful. Just understand where people are in their knowledge and where they are in their fear, right? And we just have to be kind to everybody. You know, have no fear is stated 365 times in the Bible. That's one for every day of the week. And, you know, God really tells us to fear not. You know, fear on an emotional spectrum will impact digestion. It actually, your sympathetic nervous system goes up. That's your fight or flight, like you're so scared. And then your parasympathetic comes down. That's your rest and digest. Remember how important I said rest was? Well, if it's down, you're not going to rest. You're not going to produce melatonin. And if your digestion is down, well, you're not going to assimilate nutrition, your vitamins and minerals that you need. So you need to figure out a way to manage this fear. And whether you tap into faith or you talk to a friend or you do something, we need your nutrient levels to be up, because deficiency is going to lead to poor cellular repair, poor detoxification, and a repressed immune system. That's basically what stress is going to do to your body. I mean, even the allopathic acknowledges that stress causes heart attacks. And, you know, they're acknowledging much, much more. But there is a true repression of the immune system due to higher cortisol levels from stress, lower nutrient assimilation. So manage your stress. Pray, walk, call a friend, use some calming essential oils, take CBD, which is great for the endocannabinoid system. That's the system that feeds that autonomic nervous system. And the autonomic nervous system is fight or flight, right? I'm scared, I'm all right. And so sometimes during a mental thing, we need some physical support, which is the same thing that's going on now. More fear, more nutrition. We need the physical backing to help offset any of the mental issues that we're having, right? The emotional unrest. And then speak the name, right? Name of Jesus. It's still above all the names, right? It's still above coronavirus, just so you know. So also kindness is contagious. We're all on different walks. We all have different theories. You know, we can all, but be kind. Love your neighbor as yourself, and understanding where they are in their walk. Don't shame people for different things. Don't call the police on people. Just let people be people. We're all dealing through this the same way. If you have the means to help somebody, help them, right? If you can give a free lecture, if you can pick up the phone, whatever you can do, help them, okay? Because it's a time such as this where we need to come together as a community and not be so afraid of each other. And if you're afraid to be in physical contact with somebody, that's fine. Pick the phone up, right? I got a delivery the other day. It was Beauty in the Bible. It was a coloring book with a pack of crayons from my friend Sierra. It was such the nicest thing. Like, I was like, how awesome, you know, like just such a sweet gesture from her to let me know that she's thinking about me, that she misses me, and that, you know, that we're still friends. And when we Zoom and we talk and stuff, that it was just a great thing. Do these types of things for each other. If you have extra supplements like I do, give them to people. So I told people, listen, I have extra stuff. If you want it, you can have it. Like, it's just sitting here, right? So be kind. All right, so I'm going to open it up for questions, and you can unmute yourself if you have some. This is my email. You're welcome to email me with any personal questions. It's just traceylstroup@gmail.com. And, you know, anybody that's on here, if you want to sit with me for 15 minutes and just tailor something for your family, I'm happy to do that for free, no charge. I can't sit on the phone forever. And, you know, just send me an email saying, hey, I'd like to sit down with you for 15 minutes. If you have my cell phone, we're that kind of friends. Great. Text me, call me. We'll set up a time. I just want to make sure that I schedule it so that I give you adequate attention, and you know, make sure that we can really talk about some health issues with your family if that's the case. So does anybody have any questions that they want to ask or comments that they want to share? Yay, nay. I did such a great job. No one has any questions.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, identify yourself.
Oh, sorry, you can't tell who's talking. It's Jill Taylor.
Oh, hi. Hi, Jill Taylor.
Hi, darling. You know what? Great lecture, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciate it. Quick question about, so you and I both have probably been on a bazillion forums, and one of the forums that I was on, which was actually a dental forum, they were talking about zinc.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we all learn, you know, take zinc. So, you know, if your feet stink, take zinc, that kind of thing. And so the recommendation on this forum was 50 milligrams.
And that's okay. Yeah.
Is that okay? Because
it's not going to hurt you.
Okay.
The RDA is 15 milligrams a day, recommended daily allowance by, you know, the government, whatever.
Right.
30 milligrams is really what men need daily.
Okay.
If you think of it, right? And in times of need, when you need more,
mm-hmm.
you probably need more.
Right.
So you're the practitioner. That's where you get to be the, you know, the doctor and say, let's take 50. It's not going to hurt them.
Okay. And then the next question is there was a test that they were trying to discuss whether or not you need it, meaning, so if you're, because obviously if you take some of these minerals or, you know, our supplements, you know, they can offset pathways in our bodies. Like if you take zinc, you can also disrupt your copper, right? So when you think about if you need the zinc, have you heard of the test where you hold it in your mouth, and if there's no aftertaste, and this is liquid, of course,
mm-hmm.
Then if there's no aftertaste or there's no weird funky,
it's a metal taste, right?
Yeah,
it's like metal.
A metal taste. Yeah, if you have a metal taste, then you don't need it. But if you have zero taste, then you do. Have you heard of that? What are your thoughts?
I have. Yeah, and the same thing can happen with B vitamin deficiency, right? You'll get tingling in your, you know, hands or tingling, you know, on in your mouth or on your tongue. I have people tell me their tongue hurts. It's usually mm-hmm. a B vitamin deficiency, particularly B12, right?
Yep.
So yeah, these are the little tricks of the trade. And, you know, I'm giving generalizations, and, you know, people, this is where I want practitioners to step in and say, all right, here's a webinar, right? And, but I can tailor your program. So that's where I would recommend people go back to you and say, you know, Dr. Joe, I need to know, like, do I need it or not? And there's different ways you can find out. I mean, you can do muscle response testing. You can do you know, put the zinc in your mouth and see if it tastes like metal. You know, lots of ways you can find out. At the bare minimum, we are all under stress right now, and our body's going to start depleting. So even if you just take the bare minimum of zinc, you're not going to hurt yourself. It's like people with iodine deficiency, right? And people say, don't take iodine if you have Hashimoto's. Well, you still need iodine, whether you have Hashimoto's or not. You just don't need a lot of it.
Right.
So your body still needs things. Tailoring it is where, you know, the healthcare professionals come in. But at bare minimum, take the RDA. I mean, the recommended daily allowances are out there for a reason, because we're not getting it in our food sources. I mean, our food sources are very depleted.
Oh, totally.
Nutrition is not going to hurt you. I don't worry about nutrition. I worry more about not having nutrition and then having to take pharmaceuticals. That's what I worry about.
Right.
Good question, though.
Yeah. No, thank you. Now, did you mention iodine at all? I don't remember.
I did not. I mean, it depends. There's so many different types of iodine, like, Nasacant and Lugol's, and then you have like just regular iodine. That's a bigger topic. Iodine can be a deficiency. You can also use it as a diffuser if you want to, in your nebulizers. There's so many different ways, but again, those are more individualized questions that I would probably get into if people have respiratory issues.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. An overall mineral supplement will cover pretty much everything.
Right.
Just get yourself on a good mineral supplement.
Totally agree with that.
Anybody else?
Hey, Tracy, it's Anna Marie.
Hi.
Hi, darling. You know what? I've been learning from you for years, and you know how much I love you. This is probably like the best one you've ever done. I just want to encourage you. It was really, really good. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you for that. I really appreciate the feedback. Anybody else have questions?
Tracy, can you hear me? It's Robin Brown.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, honey. It's the queen of questions.
So you have 2 questions and each have 27 parts?
At least.
I'm ready.
I just will never change. Hey, great webinar. Thanks for taking the time to work with us. I do need extra support, thoughts, and prayers at this time. I feel bad that I am not emotionally probably as strong as what I do. It's hard to admit it. I don't come home and talk about it, so I don't have a lot of outlet. I don't have a lot of source. So I'm at the hospital seeing a lot, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Robin's on the front line, so she needs some extra prayers, and that's awesome.
You can use your imagination. I can't say, but
yeah,
it's just hard. I'm hearing a lot of backstories too. I'm hearing intimate details, and it's more than just seeing it. It's actually knowing, and it is sad. So thank you. I really would appreciate that. Now, as far as the alcohol sanitizers, of course, you've got authority figures in the hospital actually watching.
That's okay. You do them.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're taking a probiotic. Okay.
I'm taking 2 of the super. Is the super better than the regular Frontier biotics?
The super is going to be 50 billion CFU, colony forming units. So yes, it's going to be what you need, particularly since you're on the front line, and you have to use hand sanitizers as part of your policy. And it's not a bad idea to use hand sanitizers. I'm just saying there's been lots of studies showing us that they're not always the best thing. However, we have an active virus, right? And it is contagious. So again, you need to do what your hospital policy demands you to do. And then on the back end, take care of your health, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're taking in 100 billion CFU. And that's the beautiful things about probiotics. They're not going to hurt you. I mean, you'll definitely know when you have enough. You'll have very regular bowel movements and maybe a little bit too much. But they're healthy, they're inside and outside, and we just all need them, especially that we're running for the ice cream, we're running for the high sugar foods. It's too bad that, when we're in stress, we don't run for the broccoli, but that's just not what we do. So it would be great.
Guilty.
Right. Oh, we all are. So trust me, I'm not judging anybody. I'm speaking from my heart because this is stuff that I've struggled with as well in my family. And you know what, as healthy as we are, Eric got sick. I mean, I don't know what it was. I didn't have him tested because I didn't have time to get him tested. He went, I can't say that anyway. He went down so fast and back up that I was like, all right, that worked. Do we need to know? I don't know. So he's practicing, safe quarantining and keeping himself isolated. But nobody else is sick. I just talk too much. So, I'm always a little rough, and it's probably my low thyroid. But anyway, so just so you guys know, just take precautions, wash your hands, use your sanitizers, but then go back and replenish because your body needs more. right now. So your protocol is good, Robin. And if you ever need to talk or pray, you know, you can.
Thank you.
You have
Well,
my
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if I call you
I'm
up. You
not
never know.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
I want to be brave and I want to be proud and to have the opportunity to help people. It's just, it does get to you if you think too hard about it, you know? So.
Yeah. And bravery is being afraid of something and doing it anyway. So you are brave.
And that's, well, then I guess I'm doing it.
Right.
I'm showing up. I just don't
That's
maybe
right.
want to, but I'm doing it.
Well, we appreciate you. We really do. We'll all
Thank
pray
you.
for you. And if you need any additional help, let me know. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed like Nutritional Frontiers are starting to run out of some stuff, and I emailed them, like their vitamin C, for example, and their zinc lozenges. But I do see there's an awful lot of zinc in the Frontier Minerals, which I'm taking. But I noticed like, and I think I even have an extra C, so I should be good. But I'm just wondering that they mentioned the end of April, beginning of May. Are there other brands that you would even go online and buy? Does it really matter at this point to grab something if I would?
Absolutely. You know, the thing I love about the buffered C is that it's non-corn derived, right? So it's very clean. You know, most of your C's on the market are going to be corn derived, which then you're looking at GMOs.
Any other vitamin C makes my lips break out. Any other vitamin C that I've ever used, but the buffer does not.
The beautiful thing, the cherry, excuse me, the cherry chews you can use in the interim.
Okay.
And if they're out, just take, you know, your Frontier, your multi, which is going to have a good amount of C in it as well. I would also recommend that you get the Pro Oranges, which are going to be a great source of vitamin C. And
okay, I'm gonna write that down. Are you familiar with this company? It's called Silver Lozengers.
I've heard about them. They've popped up a couple of times.
It has Manuka honey in it, and it has.
I love Manuka honey. Yeah.
It has 60 ppm silver sol. I don't know.
I have
some sort of
Manuka lollipops. How you like that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So popping this at work would be an option, I'm assuming.
So let's get into what colloidal silver is, because I use that for Eric. It's
because that's hard to find too on the market right now. The silver, you know, by itself. But I do have a stockpile of these lozenges.
The silver is a natural antibiotic. This is a virus. I don't really know if it's going to have an impact as much as an antiviral would. However, it is going to help with the secondary issues. And that's why I used it for Eric. He had some secondary issues, you know, and I used it just to make sure that we offset any of those. You can do lozenges. It is an excellent company, and I haven't seen a lot of colloidal silver lozenges around, so I'm glad to see that they're back, because they kind of left the market for a while. So Jill's saying it's a true nano silver. Okay, great. So nano silvers and colloidal silvers are different. I'm not going to get into the differences, but a nano silver is actually better for this type of infection. Those would be good to offset anything. And I like Manuka honey. Obviously, I have lollipops.
Good. Okay.
Any other questions?
All right.
That wasn't so bad, Robin.
Taking what you mentioned melatonin. Is it a bad idea to take a melatonin? Like, for example, I've been taking sometimes at night if I'm wound up. I've been taking the sleep time. I think it has melatonin in it. Is that actually suggested, since we need melatonin during this time?
Yeah, sleep time is actually great because it has the suntheanine in it. Suntheanine is a patented trademarked L-theanine, and it helps just calm you down, balance serotonin and dopamine. It also has the 5-HTP for stress, the melatonin for sleep, and the GABA. And GABA is great just for relaxation. So the sleep time is a wonderful combination. And yes, it's good to take if you're having trouble sleeping. I like melatonin overall, and you can do 1 to 3 milligrams of melatonin a night. It's not going to hurt you. Like I said, kids have lots of melatonin. They normally don't need it. Most of the time when kids can't sleep, it's probably something they're eating or too much time on the iPad. But for you, Robin, yes, it would probably be a good idea to make sure that you're taking something each night, especially if you're having mind racing thoughts and you're in the front lines every day. It's really important that you get your rest, keep your melatonin levels up, right? And get that good growth hormone at night so that you can recover and repair cells.
Okay. I think I'm good. Other than adding that DMG, I think I'm doing everything right. I love DMG. That
it's the best. And
that's the
thing about DMG,
I've got to get that. But other than that,
there's no there's no studies out there on toxicity levels. So when I was sick, I have the chewables, right? I think I ate the whole pack. So when my husband was sick, I was like, I'm just going to keep eating these. And I was like, wonder how many I can eat. So there are B vitamins, so there's no toxicity levels. So, and they're also great for cognitive stuff if you look at the studies behind them with spectrum children. So it's an amazing supplement. I love it.
Well, thank you for your help.
Yeah, anytime. See, we all get to spend Saturday morning together.
Yay.
We can come back tonight and drink wine. No, I'm kidding. Hi, Joe. Joe Messina's on. Joe, do you have something to tell me?
Well, my favorite silver is the Argentin 23.
Yeah, I use that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. And if somebody's having trouble finding it, they can call the Weiner Wellness Center and they'll ship it to them.
Oh, awesome. Good. I'm almost out of it.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I use they have a topical gel. I keep that in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the liquid, but it's also nano. It's also bioactive. And they have it in all kind of applicators too. They have one for your nose, like a nose spray to go up there.
Mm-hmm.
They have a regular spray. They have a dropper to go right in your eye. So
they're asking, call who? So Weiner Wellness Center, and I don't know, in our area in Pennsylvania, Dr. Weiner was kind of like an icon here. He was just an amazing practitioner. He was a chiropractor, brilliant man. And he started a center in Pittsburgh called Weiner Wellness Center. It's still there, although he passed away about 3 years ago. Joe and I both help at the Weiner Wellness Center, and Joe has been working with them for years. Joe is also an amazing resource for any type of education. If anybody wants to friend him on Facebook, you're welcome, Joe Messina.
Welcome it, absolutely.
That's right. He also, you run Messy Holistics, which is a great company. So the silver that he said was Argentin, Argentin. Is that how you spell it? Argentin?
Tyn.
Yeah, Tyn, I'm sorry. And then Weiner Wellness Center, you can call them and they will ship it to you. If you're a practitioner, you can probably get an account with Argentin. But if you're not, it's totally worth it to call Weiner Wellness and get that product. It is what I use and I love it. Again, Joe has a suggestion for the lozenges through a company, so that's awesome too. And you can put all your suggestions in the chat box, whatever you want to do. This is all about you guys. Anybody else?
Did you eat that whole bag already?
I did. Uh-huh. I did eat the whole bag. I didn't save you one lollipop.
Okay.
I'll send you some. I'll find them again. All right, guys. Anything else? Go ahead, Joe.
No, it was a great seminar. Of course, you're always right on point. Easy to understand. Good bullet points. Just the facts. And then I agree 100%. You got to secure the host. Period.
Mm-hmm.
End of story. Secure the host.
Yeah, I mean, right now we are the host, and the only thing we have against this is our immune system. Period. Yep. There's nothing else. So get your immune systems up. Get your sleep, lifestyle. Keep your thoughts pure. The impact of the fear on this thing is huge. And if you need help with just, managing your stress during this time, let me know. I can give you suggestions, things that are easy to take, that don't make you drowsy, that are not a drug. They're just nutrient support. It's really important to keep all those things in line. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go finish my Manuka honey lollipop if nobody else has any questions. So that's my email. Feel free to email me, traceylstroup@gmail.com. It's an EY. Don't forget the EY. I'll get you set up for a 15-minute consult. And if you guys need anything else, you can call or text me if you have my number. Message me on Facebook. If you want to friend me on Facebook, that's awesome. I really appreciate everybody being here. I'll also send this recording out so that you guys have a copy of it. And you can review anything on it that you like. Okay? All right, guys, thanks for being here. Have a safe and healthy Saturday. Love you guys. I'll talk to you later.